He's the most ruthless superstar of the NASCAR Cup Series. He's a three-time champ and, of course, the 2024 NASCAR Cup Series champ. He's Joey Logano, and he's blessed the studio with his presence to talk about his legacy. Joey, what's going on, my man? Thank you for coming in. How are you enjoying New York City?
Well, we got here last night. It's going to be a short trip. And then I can finally get to go home. I haven't been home since we won the race.
So, to Connecticut, up to Connecticut?
Well, I was born in Connecticut, but I live in North Carolina now.
Okay.
So looking forward to going home. My family's there, so we can all celebrate together. The rest of the team's down there too, so it'd be fun to see everybody.
It's always great to go home with championship hardware, and not when you go home early or anything like that. So first and foremost, congratulations on the win. You got to tell us what was going through your mind as teammate Ryan Blaney was kind of chasing you down in the closing laps at Phoenix for the championship. What were you feeling?
Yeah, it's wild. Not in any other sport do you have the opportunity to go race for a championship or compete for a championship against your teammate.
Yeah, okay.
Right? Like, that's kind of a weird, usually you go to battle with your teammate, right? But for our sport, we both drive for Team Penske, Roger Penske, and the 12 of Ryan Blaney, he's fast as well.
Yep.
And I knew when we came there, when we went there, he's got the same car as me. He's going to be fast as well. He's going to be our #1 competitor, I thought. And the closing laps, to your point, the last 50 laps, there he is right behind me. He's catching me. And really the last 15 laps was just a dogfight right to the very end. So to be able to win our 3rd championship, that was huge. And it's been a blessing, right? I mean, it's kind of hard to believe all of that happened. Our regular season was mediocre, and our playoffs were fantastic. And we were just able to recover a lot from not the best start.
So who's shake, who's bake? A little Talladega Nights action.
Yeah, I don't know if
you worked that out yet?
Crazy enough, that movie's not that accurate. Okay. So a lot of those things don't play out.
All right. So take us through that moment, championship moment. You're crossing the finish line. What's the first thing that you remember thinking, and what's the first thing you yelled out?
F, yeah, I believe.
Yeah, okay, I like it.
Right? I mean, you fight your whole life. Your goal every time the season starts is one goal. It's not win a certain amount of races. It's win the championship. That's the only thing that matters. I don't care how we get there as long as we get there. And you don't know you got it until the very, very end, right? It's like the closing laps. It's close. And so when that moment happens, you cross the start-finish line, all the emotions hit you so hard. You know the feeling of a championship. Like, not many people can even understand what that's like.
Yep.
Because the grind is not just that year. It's your whole life. It is the #1 dream, and it's amazing that you live out your dream. And so for us, it's weird because you're in the race car, so you're by yourself, right? So it kind of sucks for a minute. Yeah. But then when you get out of the car and you see your team, your family, your friends, and people that were there for you the whole way, right? That is where it hits you hard. That's the most special thing. And this was the first time, we had all 3 of our kids there. They ran up and got the checkered flag on the racetrack and brought it down to the car. I put them in the right side of the car. We drove in the victory lane together. Those are memories. That's all you have at the end of the day, right? The trophy's cool, but at the end of the day, those memories, those photos, those videos, that's what you got.
Those #cool dad moments, man. #1 dad of the year for that. Kids go to school, like, look what I got to do. You did YMCA rec basketball, like I was in a championship car with my dad. Like, that's the ultimate flex. Dad of the year right here. And I think one thing that's really cool about NASCAR, like, I don't want to necessarily call it individual sports, but in football, it's like for that championship moment, we're all looking to see if the kicker makes or misses the field goal. You guys get to take your destiny into your own hands, per se. Ish.
I would say really not much at all.
Okay.
I mean, yes, to a certain point. Like, there's the moments of preparation where we're, designing the race car, setting it up, doing all the details to make sure we have the fastest car, right?
Yep.
So that takes a lot of people to build a race car, right? There's 400 employees building these race cars. So those people are a big part of the team. And then you get into the race part of it, where the strategy really matters, right? So your coach, your crew chief, for us, calling the race, when we pit, how many tires we put on, how much fuel we need, all those type of details.
Okay.
And then it comes down late in the race, and it happened to us. There's going to be pit stops. And at that point, you're relying on your pit crew to do their job. They got to change 4 tires in 8.5 seconds.
Okay.
So it's got to be quick, unless you're going to lose that spot. So after that, it's just man and machine, right? That's it. So once you get done with the final pit stop, like that final restart of the race for us, we restarted 5th, and it's like, okay, now we're done pitting. The car is what it is. We can't change anything else. Now it's just, what do you got? Right, and that's where it's a little bit more of a one-on-one thing, but it takes an army to win a championship.
Well, sure. I thank you for going into the details. I hope I didn't disrespect anyone from your team either by saying like, oh, it was like an individual thing, because I know like it takes a village to raise kids, like we were talking, but it takes a village and an entire building or staff to win the championship as well. I got to get your thoughts on this, because of course with every championship there's haters out there. So how do you feel about folks, fans, NASCAR people saying that your championship shouldn't be legitimate after initially being eliminated but put back in after Alex Bowman's penalty? Talk to the haters.
I don't care.
That's simple.
No,
Haters.
I mean, honestly, so we had a very interesting playoff.
Yeah.
Where we were able to win a few races early in it. Things were going well. We unfortunately didn't make the cutoff in Charlotte, which eliminated us, but the Alex Bowman's car was too light. So when they threw that car out, that put us back in. And then we won the next week and put us in the championship 4, and then we won the whole thing. And so it's a real quick turn of events. That's just what it is. We played by the rules. Those are the rules. We played by them, and we won because of it. So I don't really care. Like I said when we started this interview, I don't care how we win the championship as long as we win the championship. Because the trophy's the same size, the check's the same size, the stats are the same size. Who cares?
Talk to him.
I don't care.
Talk to him. Blessed with the Holy Ghost up here in the studio. Hey, it's funny how you had the whole Michael Jordan shoulder shrug gif going just now. So we're going to have to cut that, make that into a Joey Logano shoulder shrug championship gif. Was it gif or gif?
Yeah, I've never known. I always went with gif, but I don't know.
You the champ. We're going with what you say, man. Take me back, man, because I remember being a young kid. I'm a son of a football coach. Just football was life. So if young Joey was told that he'd be a 3-time champ in the sport that he grew up loving and tied with some greats, what would young Joey say back?
Young Joey was pretty arrogant. So he would say, yeah, of course. But if you talk to maybe 20-year-old Joey, he would say, no way. He's like, I got my slice of humble pie when I first started my career. So to go from where I was 13 years ago, so for me, I raced for another team for 4 years, got let go. By the grace of God, got a second opportunity driving for Roger Penske and Shell and Pennzoil, and since then we've won 3 championships and 35 races, and it's been amazing. But there was some hard times there when I was in my early 20s that I thought, geez, I'm going to have to figure out what to do with my life, because this whole racing thing's not going to play out. But it ended up working out well. You get a second chance. You don't want to screw that one up, right? You become better. You also know what you did wrong. You can start a kind of a new approach on a new team. That was important for me. So talk to me, what's that like to get through that adversity in those dark places? Because you see in football from time to time, like a guy gets drafted from a team, kind of stinks it up there, goes to another team, and just completely balls out, has like a whole resurgence when it comes to his career. How did Joey get himself out of those dark places? Yeah, I think, when you first start your career, you don't even know what you don't know. Like, you don't even know where to start. My family didn't race, so we didn't know what we were doing. And so you're trying to grow as quickly as possible, but you don't have that much time, right? And for me, I started when I was 18 years old, so it was, driving a cup car when you're 18, like that doesn't even happen anymore. So I had a very accelerated path to the sport, and I just wasn't ready for it, looking back at it. But when you get a second chance and you can start all over, you walk into a new team, as someone who had 4 years of Cup experience at that point, where you kind of know what you want in your race team, you know what you want in your race car, you've made a lot of the mistakes already, but you get a fresh start. That was the difference maker for me. That's big time, man. Like, again, it's just one of those things where as the athletes,
we almost have to be humble with a hint of Kanye because we get so many no's, we get so many losses before we get the big win. We got people now all on the Twitter sphere or X or whatever you call it, telling you how to do your job better. And they're not putting in the work. So it's one of those things where it's like, when we say hi haters, bye haters, whatever it is, we put in work. We earn the right for that, to have that, I guess, I don't want to say cockiness, but how
you gotta have some
what would you
confidence,
say?
right? It's confidence, right?
High level of confidence.
And if you don't believe in yourself, no one else will either.
Absolutely.
So you have to be able to earn that somehow, right? And you can't BS it. You know, you gotta truly believe in yourself, and how everybody does that's different, right? Every athlete has their own way of getting to that point, but you can't hit the field or jump into a race car without feeling that you're the best. And you better figure out how to get to feel that way, unless you're just going to be putting around out there. You just can't do that.
And the separation is in the preparation, is what I like to say. So the confidence comes. A lot of people don't see the behind the scenes work. I think that's why the Netflixes and the Peacocks are always doing the behind the scenes, so the fans and people can see, hey, this took a lot of work. This team or this person went through a roller coaster ride of emotions, of success, of step backs, or you know what I'm saying?
Sports are tough. I mean, you lose way more than you win. Right? And I love those shows as well. NASCAR does one on Netflix as well. And it's fun to watch the way other drivers prep, too, because you kind of watch to see, like, oh, maybe I should try that. You know, maybe that's something I should do. But it is interesting to also see how other sports and other athletes, what they do to prepare, because the pressure is the same, right? The pressure of needing to perform, and you don't want to let your team down, you don't want to let your family down, and it's all coming down to this one moment. You don't want to let your fans down, right? I mean, sorry, I know it's the haters, but you don't want to be that guy, right? And nobody wants to be that guy. So that pressure is a real thing. It's not comfortable, but it's also what makes the moment of victory that much better.
Absolutely. Spoken like a true champion. So which out of the 3 championships did you party the hardest? I told you my Super Bowl story.
You did.
So tell me yours.
My stories are nowhere near as good as yours. Nowhere near as good. So when we win the championship, it's great because we have the team there, the cars there, everybody celebrates for a while. We start taking photos, our sponsors are there. But it's like a 4-hour ordeal where, like, there's a lot of interviews. There's, like, a lot of work you got to do, too.
Really?
Yeah, and then, like, by the time you're done, it's midnight or so, and you're exhausted because you just ran a 3.5-hour race, and you're exhausted from the whole week leading up to it. So we went out for a little bit, but it wasn't about an hour in. I was good. It's like, I had to wake up and come here to New York. So I'm looking forward to going home and seeing everybody there.
Plus, we're dads. We're used to being in bed around, 9:30. So 12 o'clock is like, whoo.
It's bedtime, especially on the West Coast.
All right, let's look forward ahead a little bit. And I know you just won, championship, but talk to me about the expectations for 2025, man. New tracks are on the schedule, such as Mexico City in June. Can I be your +1? So what are you most excited about next year?
Well, I think one of the biggest things you want to do anytime you win a championship is you want to be able to try to back it up. Right? You don't want to ever say, oh, you got the hangover carried into next year, and you just can't have that, right? So that's got to be our motivator, to where we just can't get comfortable. We have to keep the pressure on, right? We have to keep going. But yeah, there's some changes. Going to Mexico City, you brought it up. I don't know. Never been there. No idea. But NASCAR's trying new things, right? We're going to different places. We raced, last couple of years downtown Chicago. We're going through the streets. So just some really interesting, cool things that we've been trying out lately, and that'll be a new one for next year.
Well, look, man, congratulations. Sorry to talk about next year, but you got that Patrick Mahomes type feel. You got to go back to back. The work never stops. I hope you get home safe. Enjoy it with your family.
We will.
You just beat me for Dad of the Year, but I got you next year, my man.
There you go.
Congratulations,
That was
man.
good, man.
Congratulations.
Thank you.